So what have you been up to, Stuart?
Let's see. Bitten by a wasp, almost died there.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Destroyed the van. That was fun.
You destroyed the van?
A car accident.
You were in a wreck?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Again?
Yeah. Again, another one.
Your leg is okay this time?
I might have done something to my hip.
Good. Bless your heart.
So that's been fun.
Yeah.
And just lots of business stuff that has been going on that's been like
Business stuff, nightmare business stuff. Yeah.
pretty. I'll fill you in later.
Yeah.
It's been fun. Not. So I posted before I had the wreck because I had to go to Austin for something, saying that's enough, just quit it. No more bad luck. It's been crappy. Stop.
Like, stop. Enough is enough.
Then half an hour later, I'm laying on the side of the road going, "Oh, I tempted that, didn't I?"
Oh my god. Well, that was like, so the middle one, he's about to be 21. And so we had told them all when they were younger, you know, you can stay with us till you're 21. And if you're not going to school, you have to leave. Like, you have to, if you don't want to go to school and further yourself that way, then you need to go figure out how to be a grown-up and go try, right? So he's going to be 21. So he was going to go move in with his friends in Dallas, and he went up there a few weeks ago to kind of like check it out and see like where he was going to put his stuff and everything. And apparently it was horrible. He said they had let, because his room hadn't been being used, because there's only 2 of them, and I guess it's a 3-bedroom. So they had been leaving the dogs in his bedroom. Yeah. And he's highly allergic to dogs.
Oh, even nicer.
Yeah. So supposedly the guys were going to rip the carpet out and put linoleum down. But he said when you walked in the living room, you would get pennies and cigarette butts between your toes. I don't know why pennies, but the cigarette butts. But so that grossed him out because he's a smoker too, but he only smokes outside because that's the rule, because it makes your house like overwhelmingly stink. So yeah, he was not too thrilled with the whole living situation. So he's been asking us, you know, could we give him a reprieve? Can he give a few extra weeks? Like, because he was in a car wreck. So he had saved $3,000 to move, and it all had to go because we only have liability on the cars. So it all had to go to repair his car.
So when we're ready to go, it's already on initial. So just you'll need to go to intro, and then once the intro's done, then it just goes to me.
Does that automatically happen?
No.
What do you mean no? You haven't written a macro for that yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
You would think with all the sitting around he did today. I'm just going to give you a hard time, honey.
Intro, then you.
Then me.
Why aren't these in any order? Why don't you have Colin and Vince, the 2 cams right next to each other?
The what?
Forget it. I fixed it. You've got your camera here, and you've got Colin's down here. Why don't you just put them together so you can just pick.
Oh. Well, because there was going to be stories, but I haven't changed the stories. We didn't really set up, because we were supposed to have
a guest tonight.
today.
So this is...
You just winging it.
Yes, we are winging it tonight because what we had planned with our guest went out the window just a couple of hours ago. So it was like, oh, okay. So that changed that whole dynamic. So, yeah. But you know how that is.
Yeah, unfortunately I do. So it's just initial and then intro, or just intro?
Yeah, it should be on the initial right now, and then when intro is, when we hit intro and we're ready to go, then it'll go off, and then
I gotta switch to you.
And then you switch to Vince, and then you point at him so he knows that it's him.
No, you should know it's him.
He'll just sit there silently for a really long time.
That's happened before. Let me just post.
So what I
this.
should do is not point to Vince, because then it'll be a fun show.
Then it'll be funnier. We'll just be sitting here for a really long time. La, la, la.
And how do you guys usually handle it? Whoever's talking usually goes on camera?
Yeah.
Oh,
I just switch.
I think I can handle that.
Yeah. Like if one of us is talking for an extended period of time,
Yeah,
switch.
I shake my fist and say, stop.
Usually we're pretty good at playing tennis. Sometimes after the show, Vince will be like, tennis, honey, tennis, which means I've been talking too much. So.
That's when you're secretly flipping the bird underneath the table. You can't see. Like, the viewers can't see. But
I'm
Vince
like,
can see.
none of my students can see all of the horrible things. No. It's a learning process. I just get overly excited about certain topics, and then I'm just like, blah, 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 blah.
Well, last time it was because
Last time it was because the guest was my
Was yours.
guest, and so I was concerned about the guest doing well, and he did well. But I just wanted to make sure that he was going to do well, so I asked a lot of questions and I interjected a lot. So because I felt the pressure.
Mm-hmm. And when you finished, I would assume you get outro, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Good talk, Vince.
This is why Vince is not like a teacher or anything like that.
This is why you don't have a permanent producer. No instructions. You'll figure it out. You just click buttons. It's fine.
Just click buttons. It'll be all right. Then when the show's bad, we can blame you. See, that's the secret agenda.
Yeah.
That's the secret agenda.
Ah, that's why you don't have a permanent. Today's guest producer is brought to you by Snacky S'mores.
Our permanent producer was doing well, and then he just has had a lot of things come up, and he would like to be the permanent producer, but it's just not working for him right now.
Yeah.
So
I know the story.
yeah, I'm sure you do.
We all know everybody.
Yes, we all know all the people, so you know how that goes. And then I think that little boy, who's Vince's
Sean?
little minion, Sean, might possibly.
And we're on Facebook Live, and we're about to start in a few minutes, or maybe 2 minutes.
Or maybe you're already late. It's 6
Or maybe
o'clock.
we're already late because it's like... No, it's not even 6 yet, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is. So you're late.
It's 5:57 on the
What?
on the Kangaroo.
Well, on your iPad maybe because it's like
Oh, it's
Apple.
6 o'clock now,
It's
so we're
6
about to
o'clock.
start. So check us out, www.geekoutusa.com. We're talking about Jumanji.
Ugh.
Jumanji? Why are we talking about Jumanji today? Yeah, we're talking about other stuff, so check us out, www.geekoutusa.com. If you have us on YouTube already, check us on YouTube. If you have us on Twitch, check us out on Twitch. And if you have us on Smash Hits, we're on there too, so check us out. I'm Vince. See you there. Go for it. And welcome back. It's Geek Out SA. We're here and we're having fun. And we're breaking in yet another new producer, Stuart from Octane Toys.
Yeah, poor
How's
Stuart.
Poor Stuart.
was like, "Sure, Vince."
We've been trying to get him on the show for the longest time, and we're like, well, here's another way we get you on. Before we actually get you on as a guest, we'll get you on as a producer.
Yeah, lucky me.
Well, now Stuart knows why we can't keep a producer because we give fly by the seat of your pants kind of directions on producing the show. It's
Yes.
like, you'll
yeah.
figure stuff out. It'll be fine.
You got it.
You've got it. You've got it.
Anybody that's going to do this producing show, there is no instructions. You just basically sit down in a chair and you figure it out as you go.
That's right. That's right. It's a figure it out as you go along kind of gig. And, if anything's wrong with the show tonight, it's Stuart's fault. So,
Yeah.
there you go.
Wonderful.
That's how we roll around here at Geek Out SA.
Yay. It's not that hard.
No, it's hard for people though to be consistently to be the producer because it is, every Friday night and people have lives and people have other things to do and it's not like a paid gig because,
Is
we
that
don't.
pay? Oh, I'm out.
Oh.
We forgot to tell
You're
Stuart.
supposed to tell
Cut the
us at
stream. Cut the
end.
stream. Oops. You're supposed to keep that quiet.
Sorry. We're paying Stuart.
Oh, awesome.
So, well, you do. Do you still do your podcast that you do with your people over? No, you haven't done that in a while.
I gave it up about 2 years ago.
Oh wow!
I just couldn't be bothered getting up at 3 a.m. in the morning.
3 a.m.
3 a.m. was when the guys used to basically record because they were on Australian time.
Oh, okay.
So 3 a.m. was like 8.
Right.
8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Wow.
And they used to do it on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday night, so I had to get up at like on a Tuesday or Wednesday night and then do the podcast. And it's not like a little podcast, it's not like half an hour podcast. They do like an hour and a half, and it's like, guys, you got to cut the show down, it's too long. And they waffle on and on and on, and so I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. Because what would happen would be daylight saving would kick in, and then it would be 1 a.m. So 1 a.m. I'd like stay up and then do it and go to bed for 3 hours. But then when it would go out, because when it goes out here, it goes in Australia, it would be like 3 or 4 a.m. and like they do it, and then it's like, oh, I've got to go. I've got to get ready for work.
Right. I have my day job to do. I have life to do. So yeah, that's crazy, Stuart. I didn't know you were doing that.
So I gave it up. Occasionally I'll go back as a special guest when they do it. I still do their website and I still maintain a couple of things because they don't do it.
So what was the podcast about?
It was about toys.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was basically their more industry-related news, and most of them would still collect, and I've given up collecting, but I would be more industry-related or like the weird stories, I'd cover them.
Just kind of like the stuff with what's coming up next and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Cool. But
I mean, as you can see, we don't have a problem with toys. We kind of like toys.
Yeah.
we got somebody on YouTube called The Best. Says, "Hi, Miss Guzman."
Hi, whoever the best is. I mean, I had so many kids that were the best. It's hard for me to know which one of them it is. But anybody that calls me Miss
You
Guzman.
recently had a lot of stuff that happened.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm not going to talk about
You're not going to talk about?
No.
Not when it's eventually going to come out anyway.
Well, I'm just not ready to talk about it yet.
Okay.
It's not a thing.
Okay.
We're not going to talk about teacher stuff. I'll talk about teacher stuff on my teacher YouTube. We'll just talk about geek stuff here.
Okay.
I mean, everybody knows I'm a teacher.
It's
so.
Kevin.
Oh, hi, Kevin.
I don't know who Kevin is.
No, because you weren't his teacher, but I was his teacher.
So, a lot of, I don't know, not in the geek world, there hasn't been a whole ton of stuff happening. I recently saw something about Jumanji. They're remaking Jumanji, and you saw the trailer.
Unfortunately,
today.
I did, yeah. I don't know why you even showed that to me. That was the...
Well, because we were talking about it today.
Well, yeah, okay. So we were supposed to have a guest today, but because of circumstances, we don't have a guest. So the guest told us, a couple of hours ago, so we're like, okay, well, we'll figure this out, right? We'll find something else to talk about. Because usually when you have a guest, they kind of take up the majority of the show, and you don't have to worry about it. So now it's like, okay, it's just Vince and Colleen. What are they going to talk about, right?
Well, we usually always talk about
movies. We like movies. That's our kind of big go-to geeky thing. So he's like, oh, Jumanji 2. And
well, I didn't say Jumanji 2. I said remake of Jumanji.
Right.
Technically, it would be Jumanji 3.
Right, because Zathura, which I really liked Zathura. So, and I really, 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 really like Jumanji. Like, I make my students watch Jumanji. Like, I liked Jumanji. So... And I like The Rock and Kevin Hart. Like, they were super hilarious in that movie.
We got a comment from Dr. Beardenstein. Good evening, guys. Good evening, Dr. Beardenstein. It's Fulgore.
Oh, really? It's Fulgore?
Yeah.
I like that, Dr. Beardenstein. So what was the name of that movie that The Rock and Kevin Hart are in? And The Rock is like the CIA guy.
Yes.
And Kevin Hart is hilarious. And, the size difference between the two of them is pretty hilarious.
He's really, really tiny.
Physical comedy type of thing. And Jack Black is in this, which Jack Black is pretty funny. Depends on his moments. His like School of Rock, I really liked him in School of Rock, and the Tropic Thunder is really funny.
Now, if it from what I saw, if in and of itself as a movie itself, I would probably watch anyway.
Okay, so I think it was funny if it was just like Escape from the Jungle or something, and they didn't add the Jumanji part, but trying to modernize Jumanji and make it so that these kids go into a video game.
So yeah, well, if you haven't seen Jumanji, Jumanji is about a board game about the jungle, and you get sucked into the board game.
Or the aspects of the board game come to you unless you roll a special thing and then you get sucked in like Robin Williams did in Jumanji. But otherwise, the aspects of the board game come to your surroundings. So the monkeys come and the dangerous vines come and all the things come and they're kind of terrorizing your town, right? And you can't get them to stop until you finish the game, right? So herein lies the problem for me. They're trying to modernize this, right? So they turn this into a video game, right? So it's Breakfast Club. So here we are trying to, I think...
It was very Breakfast Club.
They saw how well the Power Rangers did with that Breakfast Club feel because they're still pandering to our generation, right? So we all love the Breakfast Club. So they're pandering. So now we have the Breakfast Club. They're clearing out the basement at school and they find this video game called Jumanji. And they plug it in and it's the same line from the board game, you know, and so they pick their characters or whatever and they press start and they get sucked into the TV. Okay. All right, I'll kind of go with it. But this is what bothers me the most about it.
Yeah.
If they're sucked into a video game, then why do we have a live action movie with The Rock and Kevin Hart? Why don't we have a CG movie where it looks like they are actually a video game?
Well,
Does
because
that make
they
sense?
Specific characters.
So, you can't CG characters?
Well, I'm talking about why the reasoning behind it is they were selecting specific characters and they became those characters.
But they couldn't become those characters that's CGI instead of being live action? I don't get the connection between it becoming live action. To me, it doesn't make sense. To me, you lose the whole story that way. You're going to go with the story, that's fine, go with it. But go straight from the kids.
But then you don't get the actors that you would ordinarily get if they were kids.
Right. So they're trying to sell this movie through the big name actors, not through
Kevin
the concept.
Hart and The Rock and Dwayne Johnson. So.
But isn't that? And I know that that's what they need to do because movies are a business. But isn't that getting a little old, kind of, to an extent? Don't you feel like it's getting old to an extent? I understand that they need to sell some of these movies and have these big name actors, but it just doesn't, to me, it doesn't work with the storyline. If the kids are going to get sucked into a video game, make the movie look like a video game.
Yeah. Folger says, or Dr. Beardenstein says, live action might be cheaper than CGI and you don't get The Rock.
I know, but it just doesn't, I don't think it translates. To me, it doesn't translate well.
And it doesn't really work all that well because if you're doing it properly, that video game console is clearly 16-bit or maybe 8-bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If it was a modern-day console without wired controllers, you could say, "Oh, look, current high-quality graphics," but it's not. It's an older school console.
And it's very, right. And that's what it looks like. It looks like an old school console, so that's why I wanted it to translate. And yes, it's going to cost money.
It's disguised as that, but it's really super VR.
Oh my God. You're really reaching. Like, you're super reaching. Am I probably going to pay money to go see this thing at the Dollar Theater? Yes, because I think that Kevin Hart and The Rock are funny together, and I think they will have funny moments because they're funny. And I think I'm almost going to, in my mind, just switch it so that it's a continuation of that other movie they were in, and they're just doing like CIA stuff in the jungle.
But is it almost difficult to watch it because you know who used to be in it?
Because I miss Robin Williams?
Yeah.
No, I don't normally have a problem with remakes of movies. I try to enjoy them for what they are, or for, riding the coattails of an old movie that had a really big following. I don't generally have a problem with that if it's done fairly well. I
Yeah.
feel like this is just weird pandering. It's almost like Jim and the holograms, right?
Yeah, well, that was just completely not.
It was not.
Jim.
It wasn't Jim at all. It was just like, here's a name of something from y'all's childhood so that y'all will come
It
and
was
pay
still
money.
an interesting movie. In
It
and
was
of
like-
itself.
It was like a shoot off of a Pitch Perfect kind of movie, and
Yeah.
if I thought of it that way,
But
it
not
was fine.
funny.
Right. It was like Coyote Ugly, Pitch Perfect, one of
Yeah.
those sing-songy, rom-com kind of movies. That's
Yeah.
fine.
It was nothing like Jim. There was no
No.
hang gliding with lasers or anything like
Yeah,
that.
no, like none of the stuff that you wanted to see for it to be Jim. So I think that's what I'm getting kind of tired of. Like, I'm old enough to get that you're pandering to me, right? And you're trying to bring
But
back
if
all
you're
the
gonna
things.
pander right.
But pander well. Like, because
Yeah.
I am old enough to also say I'm not going to spend the money on it.
Here's another comment. Would it have worked better if they kept the board game and got sucked into it that way, like Robin Williams, but we see what he did?
And we get to see that would have worked
Yeah,
better.
that
Yes,
would have worked
I
better.
would agree to that. That would have worked better. Because kind of in a board game, you're more on an imagination level, and when you play a board game, you have to see things in your mind that aren't actually there. So I'm okay with them getting sucked into the board game and it's live action, right? Because then it's your imagination.
And the thing is that they got rid of the board game, and that was kind of the draw, I think, with that movie was the board game and
Well, yeah,
how
and
the pieces move themselves.
how the pieces moved, and like the little boy tried to cheat with the dice and he gets the
Yeah.
monkey tail. Like, it's things that you would have done were you a kid trying to
Were you a
play a
kid,
game,
yeah.
right? And trying to get out of this situation. So yeah, I don't know. That worked better for me. So I don't know. And I like,
And-
you were
and
saying
is that-
Zathura, but I liked Zathura too because it kind of kept that same feeling to it. It was just we were in space. And then you get those moments where it's like, hey, I'm you. Like, stop screwing this up. Kind of thing. And this one is obviously it's just going to be straight slapstick comedy, like physical comedy type stuff. Jack Black gets swallowed or gets eaten partially by a hippo and something happens. And Jack Black actually is like the hot girl turned into Jack Black. And it's just all going to be slapstick comedy.
Yeah.
Like, Kevin Hart is making funny jokes about how short he is, and because he was the tall athlete, and then The Rock was the nerdy kid. So I don't know. It made me sad. I was like, because I follow The Rock because, well, he's kind of attractive. And so I follow him, and I saw him doing this little video for Instagram for this Into the Jungle, but I didn't realize it was Jumanji. I just thought it was like the next installment with him and Kevin Hart. So then when you showed me that and my brain clicked, I was like, it's not okay. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So
I don't know. I think it'll be good. I think it's just a disappointment that they changed it around and made it a video game. Maybe I'm biased because I make board and card games, but
or maybe you're biased because it just doesn't feel like a video game movie. Like, at least I'm gonna
it should be a video game movie.
I'm gonna give this one movie props that everybody on the planet hated, but I didn't actually hate. I thought Pixels tried, at least, with Adam Sandler and Tyrion Lannister. I forget the actor's name. At least
Peter
they
Dinklage.
tried to bring that 8-bit. They tried. Have you seen Pixels?
Yeah, it's awful.
You thought it was awful?
Yes.
I
it's
liked
awful.
it. Yeah.
It was just
No?
slam in as many video game reference characters as possible. It's like, how the hell do you get playing Pac-Man? Does that translate into driving cars around? It doesn't. How does playing Centipede translate into you shooting a big space laser into the air? It doesn't.
Doesn't? No? You
So
weren't.
it doesn't work.
You weren't down. You didn't like
No,
it.
I hated it.
I didn't hate it. Most of the people I know hated
Weren't the
it.
cars
so.
the ghosts?
Yeah, the cars were the ghosts, and they were the
Yeah.
colors like the ghosts. I liked it. The streets were the maze, and I don't know. But I know that you're a video game kind of aficionado, and you have your
A lot.
cabinet games and stuff. So, I don't know. I liked it. I liked the whole, shooting the centipede and stuff like that. So,
Because it's not that I don't like video games. I like video games.
Yeah, it's just not your, like, it's just not your mainstay. Like, you would do board games more.
Board games more,
Yeah. But even that, we don't even have any time to do those. I think the last one we played was Mystic Vale with Carl. I really liked Mystic Vale. I heard Mystic Vale.
I like Kodama. Kodama's really good.
I heard Mystic Vale won several awards actually at Origins recently. So, I don't know if you guys know this, but there are all these like board gaming conventions and awards and all kinds of. There's this whole. It's kind of like the Emmys of board games or whatever, and they have like trade shows and all kinds of stuff. So it's kind of like a big thing in the board gaming world. So I don't even know if people realize that. I'm sure people just think of like Monopoly and stuff as being the games, but
and Uno.
Yeah, and Uno. My students always ask me for the Uno. They're like, "Do you have Uno? Do you have Uno?" So I found Wilderness Uno at Five Below, and I was like, "Woo, science and Uno! I'm getting it." So that my kids can play Uno. So. But yeah, I think there are so many things that you can do with a board game, and with board games kind of starting to step things up and get bigger and get a bigger following, and coming up with these new rule sets and stuff. Like, that's one of the things about Mystic Vale, and one of the reasons that it won is because it has this new like card building ability, and the cards are clear and you can build them on one another and put them in sleeves, and so it has a new dynamic to playing the game. So I don't know if people realize all the different types of dynamics that you can actually have with a board game type of game. I think people just think it's like Monopoly. It's like Jumanji. You roll the dice and you just go around the board, and that's not what it's like anymore. So I think there was so much that they could have done with that. But when people think of games, they still think video games. Like when you and I tell people that when I tell people that I do freelance writing for games, that, oh, what games? Is it Call of Duty? Is it Halo? Like, I'm like, no. Not that stuff. And not that I have anything against video games. Well, okay, I kind of hate them because I have no eye-hand coordination, and I'm like really horrible at them. But supposedly, Vincent got some new technology, so supposedly we're going to start twitching more often so that people can see live
Just
how horrible I am.
That's awesome.
Because apparently people really like that stuff, so it's going to be really awful. And I get kind of hostile, so just to warn people, I do tend to have a problem.
That sounds like a hit YouTube channel.
Yeah, right? That's how we'll end up getting famous, is for something that I like never wanted anybody to see, right?
Just don't shoot Vincent with a book in front of him.
Oh my God, I can't believe that. I can't. I don't even know what would make people think such a thing.
Was it a Desert Eagle that they used? It was a 50 caliber.
It was a 50 caliber. It was a big gun.
Yeah, it was a big gun. And I don't understand what made them think that was going to work. You just watch too many cartoons and stuff, or you just watch too much stuff on YouTube. People don't realize how much stuff on the internet is fake. It's fake, guys. You can use Photoshop. There's all these video editing software. Things on the internet are fake, okay? Just so that you know, so that you're super clear.
Yeah, Colleen isn't even sitting on a couch.
No, I'm not.
In a hot tub somewhere.
Yes.
It's all CG.
It's all CG. This is all fake. Vincent's whole background?
The whole background? It's all fake.
All fake.
It's green
fake.
Behind me.
It's just a green painted wall in a, house. That's it. Like, it's not even a thing.
You're killing the magic, Vince.
Yes, killed the magic.
We're in an awesome studio.
We're in a big, huge studio, and we're rich and famous. That's right. And we're going to stick with that.
That's what it's all about. So, talking about video games, Nintendo is going to come out with the Super NES Classic Edition, which is like the NES Classic Edition, but it's for Super Nintendo. And so, you can fit it in the palm of your hand.
This makes me happy, but bums me out at the same time. So, no cartridges, so I can't play Sunset Riders, which is one of my favorites, or Ninja Turtles, which was one of my favorites on the Super NES, because it just comes preloaded with 21 games, and they get to choose what 21 games. Not that they're terrible. It's like Kirby and Mario and Donkey Kong and, all the things. Final Fantasy, there's a Final Fantasy on there and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not terrible. But like the other one that they put out, it's limited. So they're going to put out a few. Whatever stores get them, first come, first serve. When they're gone, they're gone. That's
Well, it's
it.
the same thing that they did with the NES Classic Edition, I think.
Mm-hmm. And I had wanted the NES Classic. I don't even remember
Oh, he says,
what
which
games.
means I'll never find it. It's probably, it's possible to mod it.
Yeah.
Well, it was possible to mod the
Nintendo,
NES one, too.
The Nintendo version was a little bit of time, and then somebody figured out how to mod it, how to hack it, because it was basically using Wii technology, and they hacked it and put all the games on it. So it's quite possible that the Super will probably be hacked within a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
They might be able to put all the games on there because of space, and Nintendo will probably get in there and mod it a little bit so that hack, the original one, the NES one, is probably not going to be there, or not that exploit to get to it. So
Right.
Who knows?
So it's going to take some getting to. But people always get to it. Like, they always manage to find a way to hack it. So
I know you've dealt a lot with the classic video game systems, that the new releases, that you can do several of the different ones on one system. What is like one of your go-to ones for those?
I would say to the original systems.
The original systems?
Yeah. There's a few out there that are they're okay. There's one called the Retron.
oh yeah, we saw that. We almost got that
which,
one.
which has a HDMI port on it.
Yeah.
The only problem is it's poorly made, so the pins where you stick the cartridge in kind of bend after a certain amount of time, and you kind of pull the cartridge out. Oh no, the cartridge slot's completely trashed.
Oh, lovely.
I hate when that happens.
But there's a lot of newer systems that people are redesigning now to have HDMI output, so you can play your Nintendo or your Super Nintendo in HDMI. It's just a single console. Eventually they'll get to the point where you'll be able to play everything on like a super console that has like 4 or 5 cartridge slots.
Nice.
And be proper. A lot of the stuff now is it's emulation on a chip. So it
Yeah,
doesn't work a
yeah.
lot.
You don't think that they're just going to go to a lot of downloadable content?
They should. That's the age we're heading towards.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I see more and more. Like, even if you buy a new gaming system, like a PS4, Xbox, or whatever, and that used to be the big draw, right? You'd buy the system and it had the games with it and stuff, but it doesn't actually physically have the games with it anymore. It just has, like, the downloadable content. So you don't physically have a game. So, but I did see that was some of the complaints for the new one, but people were saying that they would probably hack it, is that it just has these 21 games that are chosen for you. So if you did like some of them, and the Ninja Turtles was one of the ones that was mentioned.
From a person that had a Super Nintendo, the list of games is awesome. There should really be no complaints about the list, because it's like all the top tier games. There might be 4 or 5 that you can say, I want these as well, but when you look at it, it's got just about everything that you would almost want.
Well, and I had read that Star Fox 2
Yeah, Star Fox 2.
is not something that had come out originally, that's only coming out with this.
Yeah, it was never released, but there was hacks of it. There were people who put it in a cartridge.
Oh, really?
It was basically almost complete, but it never got released.
So this will be a way, like if somebody was looking forward to that, this will be a way for them to get that. So
Yeah, he says Nintendo doesn't even have their Nintendo eStore up yet. They're only going to sell the Super NES Mini till the end of the year. I believe it comes out September 29th.
that may be something that you and I have to get. I think we said that last time when they came out with the NES, but maybe this time we actually have to kind of get in line and get this one, because those were some of the games that I really enjoyed stinking at the most.
I really like The Legend of Zelda on
That
the
is-
NES.
And was that on the little mini NES?
Yes,
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. But can't you play that online? Haven't you been playing that?
Yeah.
You can play that
I
on
can
the
play it on
computer, right?
computer, yeah.
Because I hear it sometimes.
But I own it.
But you own it? What do you mean you own it?
But you're doing the thing for
Oh, for Mario.
for Mario.
But you know what I'm talking about. The dungeon music. What's the Zelda dungeon? Yeah, that.
That one.
That one.
That should totally be your new intro.
Vince poorly sings video game songs.
Copyright infringement.
We get taken down. And you lose your show.
Damn it. So I don't know. I don't know that I like Super NES more than I like the NES.
It would all depend on your age.
Yeah.
See, I like it. I'm a lot older than you. Because my first console was the Atari, and I went straight from Atari to Super Nintendo.
Me too. Well, I went from Atari to NES. I skipped Super Nintendo.
And went to what? To PlayStation?
PlayStation.
Yeah. We even had the one that had the little discs, the 64.
The Cube, GameCube.
The GameCube. Yeah, yeah. I did a lot of Nintendo for the
And
boys.
there was a what could you do? It was a certain game. I forget which game it was that you could play with the little. Is it a network thing? Or it's a little thing on the bottom that you put on the GameCube, and if you play it with a certain game, you were able to.
The Game Boy player?
No, we had that though. That was cool. But nobody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it was the Game Boy player.
Game Boy player where you could link GameCube and Game Boy together, and you could play certain games. On the screen, you would see one thing, but on the Game Boy used to, or the Game Boy Advance used to work as a second console. It was basically first screen and second screen. Mm-hmm. There were a number of games that did that.
I just remember I liked Super NES because that was the time, like, when Disney was in its kind of a heyday. So there was a lot of those Disney games. Like, I remember playing the Aladdin game and the Lion King game and when my kids were little. So I think that was one of the reasons. And I just love Sunset Riders. Bury me with my money. I always like multiplayer games because I stink really bad. So then I just play with a bunch of people that are good, and then my character just kind of hangs back and just shoots a little bit, and then I get to make it through all the levels. Now you know all my gaming secrets. Like, we used to play Gauntlet. I play Gauntlet all the time because multiplayer. Champions of Norath. Played that all the time with the kids. Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Any of those that were like 4-player, because all 3 of the boys could play and then I could play with them, and so.
Super Mario Paint was one of my favorites on the Super NES. That's from Fulgore.
I don't think I ever played Super Mario Paint. I liked that Mario Maker that we played.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That was kind of cool.
The Super Mario Paint, you could design your own music as well as, like, you use all the Nintendo sound effects. A lot of people still do it. They do a lot of chip tuning.
Did you see the video that's out of the guy who built the whole, like, first level of Mario to go with the VR? And so you put it on and you're, like, out on the street and you're jumping I saw that too. It looked very disconcerting. Like, I felt like I would be very nauseous trying to do that, but
what happens if you're not very athletic and can't jump very high?
How does that work? Yeah. Well, I don't know, because it didn't seem like he was very athletic, so I don't think he was jumping very high. So I don't know, like, what the measurements are so that it feels like you're high enough to have jumped on something or to have gotten the flower or whatever, you know. So I thought it was interesting, but it looked like it would make me totally nauseous trying to do something like that and walk around the street and jump and shoot. And I can barely do it on the video game, much less in real life, so. So I don't know. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, if you can find it.
Yeah, and that seems to be the problem.
Yeah,
is
I
if
think
you can.
Out in the wild, the NES version, I saw it once at a Walmart. I didn't buy it like a stupid idiot. I was going to buy it. I was like, oh, I'll get it later.
Right.
And then they went, discontinued, and now it's like,
oh, we're not going to sell it
$200.
Yeah, because when this one comes out, it's only supposed to be like $80.
$80, yeah.
So if you don't get it at $80, you're going to be out of luck and you're going to be paying out the nose if you want to get it later and you go, oh, I should have gotten it. No. Go on eBay. $500.
But something's, it's a nostalgia thing with the cartridges.
Yeah, but this is also a nostalgia thing because it's actually a system put out by the original company.
Yeah.
It's not like a third-party console.
Yeah, and at least they made it look like the original console. So at least that's kind of a cute little, I don't know. I also saw some of the people complaining because it's wired controllers. But you get 2 this time.
Yeah, you can get an attachment
to make it wireless. Yeah.
I haven't seen quite yet what the variations are for the Japanese release, whether there's going to be different games, because on the original...
They said 2 different games.
Yeah, on the NES there was like 3 or 4 different ones.
It's something that was like a Tetris type of game that I saw that's going to be on the Japanese version, and I think it was a different version of the Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was a couple of different games, but it wasn't a huge difference. Yeah.
On that system, they have longer controller cords than the original.
Right. So you can kind of sit way back and not have a problem.
So that was one of the things that they made better. Mm-hmm. Especially since we have like much larger TVs than we used to back in the day. You don't want to be right up there, then only see half the screen.
It's like being on the first seat in the movie theater. I can't see it.
Depends on the movie theater. Some you can do that.
See, I still don't like it though. It's hard for me. We went. Oh my god. Unfortunately, we went and saw Transformers.
Was it brutal?
Oh my god, it was so bad. There are a few moments, and Anthony Hopkins is funny.
Yeah.
But you're like, please make it stop. Make that chick go away.
I can't remember what was the last one or the one before I came out of the theaters, and I was like, that was a chore to watch. It wasn't enjoyable at all.
Well,
it was not like...
This one had a bunch of missing parts, it felt like. There was a bunch of stuff that wasn't explained.
It had characters in there that were pointless. Like, they were just there so that you had a little kid character, so that you had a Hispanic character, so that you had an African-American character. They didn't drive the story at all. They were just, like, thrown in there. Then you have this whole build-up from Optimus, like, being taken over, and he goes back, and he's supposed to come out. And then the battles with him are very short-lived. They're super pathetic. Like, the humans take forever to get anything ready, and they could have, like, resolved the issue like that. I'm just like, please just stop already. You're just annoying me. Stop bringing this little kid in. Nobody cares about her. Like, get rid of her, blow her up or something. Like, she's stupid. There's no point to this little kid. And then this cute little robot that's supposed to be like Wall-E or whatever, little... Great. He's cute and adorable. Let's add adorable factor. But why? Like, and he ends up saving the day at the end of, but of course, because you didn't see that coming from 9 million miles away. I don't know.
I guess you could tell she really didn't like
it. Was
movie.
It was awful. It wasn't like Fantastic Four awful.
I don't know. It was alright.
You thought the newest one was alright?
It wasn't Transformers bad.
This Transformers was really pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
The last one was pretty bad, and the one before that was pretty bad.
Yeah. And the Dinobots are in this one again, just for the sake of the Dinobots. Like, they're eating cars and stuff, and it's like, really? And he makes one of them spit out the police chief's car. Really? They're the Dinobots. Come on.
Dinosaurs sell.
I know, but it was awful. It was just awful.
Well,
but he doesn't even have to try anymore. See, that's the thing.
You've got another 4 or 5 coming out now.
Yeah.
Spinning it off.
As long as people want to see Transformers and see things blow up and see all of this stupidity, they're going to keep making it like that. So it's like, whatever. Go ahead, do what you got to do. I'm going to go back and watch the animated. I'm going to watch the cartoon. I'm going to cry when Optimus dies. And that's going to be how I'm going to do
And
that.
then you're going to see how horrible they were at the time.
Oh my god, I hate
Compared
when I
to
do
now.
that. I hate when I do that.
It's like, oh my god, I used to watch G.I. Joe. It used to be the coolest thing ever.
I used to love the A-Team. Oh my god, I loved Murdoch.
Does it
I
make you
loved the
sad,
A-Team.
Colleen, that Michael Bay has 4 more scripts and a Bumblebee spinoff in the works?
Oh my god, and why? We've been searching for Bumblebee's voice the whole freaking series. Like forever and ever. And then in one moment he speaks with his voice to Optimus and switches Optimus over to back to good Optimus and then never speaks with his Bumblebee voice again. What the freak is that?
What? That happened in the... That happened in the first one.
It's just so
Didn't at the end of the movie he got his voice back?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's
And
so
then
stupid.
he
And
didn't
then
have
magically
it again.
doesn't have it again. It's really stupid. Like super stupid.
But that's one of the things I think they
They
cut out.
I think they purposely put it back in because if they're having a movie all around Bumblebee, it's going to get annoying him just squeaking and honking his horn and turning left all the time or something.
Well, he talks through the music, which I think is interesting. At least that's a quasi-interesting dynamic in the movie, is that he talks through the radio and through the music. Like he'll play a song or whatever through his radio that goes with what's going on with him. So that I kind of love. And I mean, it's Bumblebee, so who doesn't love Bumblebee, right? But it's just real stupid. It's just gotten real stupid, unfortunately. So
the G.I. Joe Transformers crossover comics are amazing. I haven't seen them
are they
yet.
really?
I haven't seen them.
Interesting.
The new ones or the old ones?
The new comics.
Not the old ones.
Why are there old ones too?
Yeah, that's how Transformers was originally brought in
Was through G.I. Joe?
through G.I. Joe and Spider-Man.
Really?
Spider-Man was in the first issue or something.
Huh. I did not know that.
But they've been wanting to like merge Transformers and G.I. Joe, and they're supposed to be doing a whole Hasbro merge.
I kind of get
Universe.
that feeling with that what's-his-face guy who's the actor who's the military guy in the Transformer movies. I kind of get that G.I. Joe feel from him, like they're trying to get us. So I can see them possibly trying to do that. I can see that being a thing. And I didn't hate the live-action G.I. Joe movies. They were tolerable. They were okay. They were tolerable, you know.
But they just weren't reminiscent of
I mean, it
G.I.
was
Joe.
probably tolerable for me because it was Channing Tatum, so, you know. I was distracted the whole time, and I don't know. I don't know. I just remember as a kid, like, one of the things we talked about in the G.I. Joe was that nobody ever died. Like, we just thought that was super funny, like, in hindsight. Well, they're always shooting at each other. They're like the worst shots ever. Like, nobody has any training on how to shoot one another. Which is weird now that we watch the Clone Wars cartoon, because the Clone Wars makes me sad. I know that sounds ridiculous, but they've given the robots such personification, and they have these little personalities and stuff, and then people
Even the clones,
die.
The clones too.
The clones, and they die. Like, they let them die in this cartoon, and I'm like...
But not the important ones.
It doesn't, like, but they're... I don't know. Like, I think people are super desensitized or whatever. For
That
me,
you
I'm
have to
super
go
sensitive, and I
to
feel
that
sad.
point
I
to
feel
where you have to.
sad. Like, the little robots are so cute, and he was... What's his name? God, I forget every character's name.
Yes. Heck, let's just do the Transformers, G.I. Joe, Avengers, X-Men, and mass crossover.
Let's just throw everybody in there and just make it, like, so convoluted that nobody knows what's going on. No, let's not. Let's not do that. I don't like that.
They should do mask.
I've liked the X-Men movies. I've liked the Avenger movies. So let's, like, kind of keep those where they are. Wonder Woman has given everybody hope for the DC universe.
Finally.
Finally. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see where they keep going. Again, again, like we've talked about a million times, it comes down to money, right?
Mm-hmm.
It comes down to them making money. It's just like, I really, really wanted... What was that movie that we just saw, the King Arthur movie? It had the kid that's the actor from Sons of Anarchy, and he's brought up in a brothel, and what is the name of that movie? I just saw that movie. Anyway, I really liked it. It tanked horribly.
Yeah.
It's like nobody cares about King Arthur anymore. They said that kid wasn't a big enough name. Like, he's done okay on Sons of Anarchy, but he wasn't a big enough name to sell this. You would think Guy Ritchie, because he was the director, was a big enough name because people have come to like his movies.
It was a good movie.
I liked it. But I liked the story of King Arthur. Like, I was cleaning the other day and I'm watching Sword in the Stone from Disney, So.
It was a different story, though.
But I liked that about it. That it was a different look at it. It almost had a Knight's Tale kind of feel to it. That Heath Ledger, like, I came from nothing, but now I'm something, and I can be somebody, kind of. Like
Knight's Tale meets Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah. And it comes back to the whole, you have this great responsibility, you fall into this and find out this is who you are. Are you going to accept it? Do you want to take on that responsibility, or do you want to go back to, kind of being a thief and living in a brothel? And so it's that, those great hero moments that always happen, which are atypical. And as you get older, I think you come to see them getting ready to happen in a movie, but, it's formulaic, I guess. You have to kind of go with that.
But what hasn't been done yet?
I'm sure we could think of things. I mean,
Everything's been done. They're just variations of things.
Been done. There's got to be something that hasn't been done. There's got to be something new.
I bet you if you name it, there's probably a play or a book about it.
I just wonder if people even want to see new anymore. If people just like the...
A lot of the things is people aren't... Like, the younger generations weren't exposed to the old stuff.
Well, I am kind of slightly concerned for the movie industry because of the younger generation. Like, in my classroom this year, I have literally heard students say that they feel like going to the theater is pointless. That they can find a movie and pirate it off a site, and they can watch it at home, and they don't want to sit through something for 2 hours. It's too long, or an hour and a half, which a lot of movies are. So they want to be able to play it for a little bit and then go play a video game and watch some YouTube videos and come back and play a little bit more of the movie and go and do their thing. And so I'm wondering where all of this movie going is going to go. And if we're going to have movies the same way. Because you've started to see kind of at the Draft House these clips of these actors like thanking you for coming to movies and how important, and don't forget all the jobs that are out there that are supported in the movie industry. And so I wonder if it's in, more trouble than people realize.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I enjoy going to the movies. It gets you away from the house.
Yeah, I like going to the theater. I'm with you. I like going and being away, and the screen is,
what I wish
obviously
they
much
would
different.
bring back is intermission.
Movies aren't long enough for intermission.
Yeah.
And if you're going to need intermission, it's because people's attention span can't sit through an hour and a half freaking movie. And that's wrong.
I know, but that's kind of where we're getting.
There's some of these movies that are pushing the 3-hour mark.
Sometimes, but very few of them anymore. We used to be there. Yeah. Kevin Costner stopped making those. One of the movies that I'm looking forward to that I'm afraid is not going to do well is that movie Valerian.
That one looks good.
It's made by the guy that did The Fifth Element, and I just love The Fifth Element. I just watched that yesterday, actually. And I really like the bright colors and the way that looks.
It looks like there's too much going on.
Right. There's a lot going on, and it looks like that one city scene in The Fifth Element where she drops into the cab and they're trying to go through the whole city, and there's just too much for you to focus on. I feel like, unfortunately, the budget was probably so high that there's no big name people. Nobody really knows what the story is. It's not a remake of anything. It's probably not going to do well. Unfortunately.
There's a graphic novel.
What do you think of
that
the new
people follow.
Spider-Man?
I think it's going to do well.
Yeah.
I think tying it to the Marvel universe is Sony's may backstep and go, that made us a lot of money. Let's tie everything else to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was my thoughts exactly. You know, they built that up really nicely. Let's introduce him a little. Let's get him out there. I'll be interested to see. I kind of like this new kid that they've chosen. He has that, you know, derpy Peter Parker kind of feel that I was looking for. So I hope that he does well.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like he will. He looks like he's a good fit. So we'll see how that goes.
I mean, I haven't seen a Spider-Man I haven't liked yet.
I was trying to think. There was one that I didn't think was super great. See, I liked Tobey Maguire.
I like Tobey Maguire.
Spider-Man. I really did. I love the whole. One of my favorite movie scenes actually is from one of his Spider-Man, where he holds the train
back,
and then everybody like lifts him up. I thought that was a really beautifully done movie scene. I like the whole, you know, coming down, upside down, kissing. I thought that was cute. You know, it's very romantic. So I really liked some of those.
The only bad thing about Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is that he shot his webs out from his palms. Like, it came out of his body. But that was one of the things. He made those web packs.
Right.
To shoot the webbing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the fails in that series of Spider-Man.
Well, I wonder how much more science they're going to start adding into these movies and trying to bring that around and bring some awareness, because the United States is on this big STEM kick where, you know, it's science and technology and engineering and mathematics, and that's our big push so that we can maintain our competitiveness with other nations. So I wonder how much of that is going to leak into the movie genres, because some of these well-known comic characters were scientists, you know, and that was where some of this came from. And they were doing
the STEM covers on the comics.
They did, yeah. They did some of the STEM covers for a while on the comics. And I never actually saw any of those. I need to look some of those up and see if I can pick some of those up.
I hear the new Spider-Man was really good. Spider-Man 3 was pretty bad.
That was the one with the Sandman, right?
Yeah, that one's probably not as strong as the other. I could have done without the emo dancing scene. Tobey Maguire was a good Peter Parker. Andrew Garfield was a good Spider-Man. From what I understand, Tom Holland is good at both. I don't know. I see Tom Holland as he's got his kind of like snarkiness, but he has real nerdiness.
Yeah. Yeah, so I can
Peter
see
Parker.
him. Yeah, I hope that he does that well.
But kind of like an innocence to it, because he seems to be even younger than anyone else that's played it till now.
And I think that's something with a character like Peter Parker. You're getting into a character like you do with Bruce Wayne and Batman, where you have those different personas, right? I'm this one persona when I'm behind the mask and I'm doing what I need to do. And I'm this other persona when I'm this person and I'm out here in the world and I'm trying to be a person. And a lot of the time we've seen in the Batman movies, we like an actor for one side of the character or the other, but not for both sides. So it is always best when you can find that actor that meshes the two together. Because I know a lot of people liked, what's his name? Val Kilmer. They liked him for Bruce Wayne.
I liked him for
but not for Batman. He was just not good. Michael Keaton was kind of better as Batman than he was as Bruce Wayne. He's not super believable as Bruce Wayne for me.
No.
Not really. Christian Bale, more Batman than Bruce Wayne. Definitely felt that way. I like Affleck. I know people were probably throwing things at the computer right now. I think Affleck does well as both.
I don't know that people really hated Affleck that much. At first they did. before they saw his performance. I think he did a great performance as both Batman
I thought so.
and the Bruce Wayne and Batman he was supposed to be.
Right, because he's older in
Yeah.
the series. So that was one of my favorite Batman cartoons. Was The Dark Knight? Is that the one? Is that the name of it? Where
Which
Bruce
one?
Wayne is older.
Batman Beyond
Batman Beyond. That's the one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was one of my favorite
with
ones.
what's his name? McGinnis.
Terry McGinnis.
Terry
Yeah.
McGinnis. Yeah.
Which is sad we never even did get to talk about, the passing of Adam West.
Oh yeah.
Which was kind of a big thing for a lot of people in the geek culture.
It was and then it wasn't, because a lot of the original comic book fans didn't like Adam West at all.
They ended up liking
they-
him more for his role on Family Guy, right?
Yeah.
He kind of became that character more to everybody because his series was pretty campy, right?
Yeah, it was super campy.
Right. It was one of those like dancing the monkey. It's like if the monkeys were superheroes, kind of that dancing and over the top kind of stuff. I used to love the monkeys. Oh my god, they had reruns of the monkeys when I was in junior high. So I'd come home and be like, "Hey, we're the monkeys." Maybe running around like a bunch of idiots. I love that show. Show's the best. Till I found out that they were old, like as old as my dad, and then I was traumatized.
Old.
I was like, "What? Davy Jones is as old as my dad?" Ah.
Which reminds me, what? Sense8 is gonna come back for 2 hours?
I don't like that show. I'm
I
so
really
sorry.
like that
He
show.
really does.
I
Have you seen
really,
Sense8?
really like that show.
I think so.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix. No, we don't do Netflix at home.
Yeah. It's confusing. I don't like those shows where it's like you're over here and then you're over here and then you're over here and then you got to come back to this character and you're not sure what that character's doing over there, but then you got to remember what that character was
You
doing
have
3
to-
episodes ago. And
You have to watch it because it blends really well. It switches a lot, but it blends really well.
well,
And if you come to the understanding that they're all 8 of them, all of them are connected, then you'll see why stuff happens the way it does.
because it's a sci-fi-esque, right? Okay, but I was reading that show is like $9 million an episode.
Yeah.
An episode.
And that's what
What
I
the
was saying
freak?
before. Just like, well, they're doing it in several different locations all over the world, so it's going to be expensive to do
$9
something
million
like that.
an episode, like that seems ridiculous to me. Like I don't even know. I can't even fathom.
And it's by the Wachowskis.
Who that
You
is.
don't know who the Wachowskis are?
I don't
They're
know
the
them.
guys that did The Matrix.
Oh, that's why you like it. I did like The Matrix, though. I did.
You should really just watch that show, just to like see it.
Now I want to veg out and have like a Matrix marathon. I just want to. Do you guys ever do that? Like you guys out there on YouTube, do y'all ever just like throw down and be like, I'm gonna have a Harry Potter? Because it was the 20th anniversary of Harry Potter a few days ago, on the 26th. That's why I'm wearing my garb. Got my, stuff going on here.
Your golden snitch.
Yep. Because I don't know. Sometimes you just want to throw down a whole marathon and just sit on the couch all day and veg and like have a couch picnic and like watch movies all day. No.
No,
No, not so much.
I don't get time.
You don't have time. I don't
But
have
that's what
time
we
either,
want-
which is
but
why
that's
I
what we
want to
wanna
do it.
That's what I would like to do. It took me 3 hours to watch 3 days to watch a movie I've been trying to watch for forever.
But you have a little one at the house, so that's different. Like he and I don't have that excuse anymore. Like ours are all grown, so we don't
Like
have
I
to deal
remember
with...
we used to do before we used to do everything.
Right, when we
We
just
used to drag
worked.
out our mattress out into the living room, and then just
Order a pizza,
Yeah.
and then throw on all the movies, and the kids would like get on there or be on the couch or whatever, and we would watch like The Matrix, all 3, or we, all the Harry Potter movies or something. We would just turn it into a whole day thing. And that was nice. That was like, I don't know, that was like a thing that we could all do together, and we could spend time together and be a family and kind of, relax from the week. And
But getting back to the Sense8 thing.
Sense8, nobody cares.
So
Nobody cares.
this is like one of the first times where they kind of listened, because the end of the second season left it open, really open, and not ending.
Well, it's like Heroes, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, everybody shut up. Like, we had to end it because we had to end it, but here's your finale so that you can get kind of... I hope the finale for your Sense8 is not as terrible as the finale for Heroes, because that was horrible.
So this is going to be a 2-hour finale. It's going to come next year. And hopefully they wrap it up nicely.
Yeah, because sometimes they do that, where they come back to kind of appease us fans, and they're going to be like, wrap it up or make it better or whatever, and... they jump the shark. It's not good. Not at all. I bet people don't even know what Jump the Shark is from.
Right. I don't.
It's from Happy Days.
How do you not know that?
It was from Happy Days when the Fonz like jumped a shark on the ski. That was when Happy Days like went downhill.
I didn't know that was like a saying though.
Yeah, no, it's totally that's a thing.
It's a saying, and it actually happened.
Yes. So whenever a show takes a turn for the worse and it like starts going downhill, you're supposed to say that it jumps the shark, and that's because when Happy Days, when the Fonz jumped the shark, then that was when the show when you knew it was over, like they had reached the end, there was no more content, like you couldn't recover.
When you get to the point where you have to do something completely and utterly ridiculous to keep your viewership, that's jumping.
Then you're jumping the shark. Yeah. I taught people something today. Yay!
I didn't even know that.
Yay! Yeah. I taught you something.
I know that it happened during Happy Days, but I didn't know that that was something that was like used.
Yep, it's a thing.
So that's kind of cool. I enjoyed that. So we talked about Sense8. So you should watch Sense8, even though she doesn't watch it and didn't like it because
that's okay. I read books and he doesn't do that. So
just because she's also the one that didn't like Pulp Fiction.
It makes me feel bad and all creepy on the inside. I don't like it.
You didn't like how it jumped around.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like that either. But it also makes me feel bad and creepy on the inside.
The first time I watched Pulp Fiction, it was part of a 20-movie marathon, and it was like movie number 10 or something. So I was like 15 hours into watching movies or something, and I kept on nodding off, and I kept on waking up, and I was going, I'm not understanding what's going on. Did this bit happen? And then I nod off again and wake up again. Hang on. And then I sat down and watched it again some years later, and I got, oh, now I kind of understand.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like those things that jump around like that. That's just like one of the things I don't like.
But you should definitely, if you haven't seen it yet, you should watch it and wait. And you can
or maybe
watch
not,
it slowly,
because there's only 2 seasons and then they're canceling
and watch it slowly. You can watch 2 seasons slowly, and then you should be ready for...
Watch Preacher instead. That'll traumatize
Preacher looks
you.
good. We just saw Preacher come back, and that was pretty awesome.
Preacher's pretty traumatizing right now. It's pretty good.
That's pretty... I wonder what happened with... we haven't seen... what's his name? Arseface.
Oh, he's coming.
He's coming
soon.
though. He's in hell, though. That was good. We talked about the... what else did we talk about?
Movies, mostly movies and some more movies, and G.I. Joe and Transformers and Jumanji and stuff and things.
We talked about the Super NES Classic Edition.
We did.
So if you are into that system, you should definitely check that out and see if you can pick it up. But thanks for checking us out. Really appreciate you watching. If you haven't subscribed to us yet, subscribe to us. Or follow us on Twitter, or do whatever you do on Smash Hits. I don't know.
You'll have to figure that out.
Figure it out.
It used to be Hitbox, and now it's Smash Hits, so I don't...
Nobody's actually using it. It's like we might as well be on MySpace.
Nobody's actually watching us on that anyway, so I might take us off of that.
Yeah. If you are watching on that, tell us how you subscribe. Or watch
Yeah, tell us what you do on there.
Tell us what you do on that, because we don't even know what that is.
Yeah. But thanks for checking us out. I'm Vince.
Oh, I gotta click the camera.
Yeah, you gotta click it to
there
me.
You go.
I'm Colleen, and that's Stuart over there.
Yeah, I'm the one that the camera, if it's clicking backwards and forwards, it's my fault. Sorry. as I do it 4,000 times.
And-
Everybody's getting epilepsy.
Geek out, I say. And then hit that outro.
Hit the outro.
And then once it's finished, just click on stop streaming